you not just love it when you realise that a certain movie exists that you just had no idea of? And today we are looking at probably one of my most requested movies, at least in the universe, and Cube Zero. Now I imagine for all of you watching you're very familiar with Cube. Did you know that Cube actually got 2 sequels? That's right, it's a trilogy. That blew my mind to learn that. It was a very interesting movie, if not a little rough around the edges.
Very quick, very effective.
But I think we can all agree it was a great time for what it was. Just a bunch of folks in this weird mystical contraption of cuboid rooms and each one is potentially a trap. I'm here for that. That is up my street. I have seen Cube 2 as well. I only watched that once though. It's alright. It's not amazing. Now on to the threequel of Cube, and I'm very excited for this one, not gonna lie. It is a prequel. I hope to get answers at last. It's the synopsis for it though that really hooked me. Like, the idea of Cube 3 was already going to be watched, but then the synopsis, like, I'll just read a quick little bit for you. Cube Zero is the 3rd film in the trilogy, yet this time, instead of a film about people trapped in a deadly cube trying to get out, we see it from the eyes of someone who is controlling the cube and torture the victims inside. Interesting so far, but it goes on. When the nerd can't stand to see a woman suffer, he enters the cube himself to try and save her. That's right, we are following the nerd. I love that it's speaking to its potential audience because, with no offence, I include myself in this. If you're watching the Cube, you're watching Cube 2, and then even Cube 3, you're a bit of a nerd. Nerds rejoice, that's all I'm saying. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have ever went deeper into Cube, but I did read a theory on it that was a bit interesting. I'm not saying I believe it, but you know the theories that probably are just a little bit of a reach, but it does make you think. What I'd read was that the Cube was actually some kind of metaphor for life. You know, when people enter the Cube, they have their minds wiped, so it's almost like their rebirth or their birth. And then they have to figure a way out without getting caught up in the traps. And with the sort of life analogy coming in, it's a case of you learn as you go. So if you get too stuck up in the traps and the worries of life, shall we say, you're not going to make it out. However, if you learn by what's going on, I can't really even say your own mistakes because your own mistakes kill you, but you get what I mean. You'll eventually get out. And that's where the math whiz from the first movie came in, because the theory kind of hinges on the idea that he didn't really think too much about what was going on. He just seen patterns, understood the problem, and that's how he got out. Whether that's true or not, I have no idea, but I am curious if this movie is going to lean into that in any way. Now, with all that aside, you guys know the score. Grab yourselves a drink, kick your feet up. Do hit subscribe if you haven't already, that would be awesome to see. And a big thank you to the channel members. You are on screen now. I really do appreciate your support and like belief in me doing this. Now will Cube 3, or I really should start calling it Cube Zero as it's called, will it carry on the indie horror vibes of the first movie, or will it just fall into the abyss much like the Cube? Let's find out. We are getting right into this one with a POV of entering the cube. Here we have old One Boot, you know, the old tested method of just throwing shoes about. But it seems like he's got an extendable leg, like that, it doesn't stop. It's clear our man here has been in the cubes for quite some time. He's getting around alright, but uh-oh, it looks like he's gone one cube too far. I wonder what's on him though. Is it acid? Is it petrol?
Water?
It's water, I guess then. Like, who knows? Our man gets a bad case of the old scratcheronis, and I think we can agree it's not water. I so wish I could show you this fully unblurred, because it's not amazing, right? But it looks just like a skeleton caked in jam. Just picture that in your head right now. That's what we have here. In a surprising turn of events though, we now just jump on over to the IT office watching the footage.
We've seen a lot of... But this is just... Oh, dear God.
They download the video and put it in the man's case file, but I mean at least they had consent.
Rise and shine, guys! If you scored last night, I need your consent forms!
You know, you shouldn't be looking at the files.
It's not against the rules.
But it's not encouraged.
Come on, man, we've
It's
all...
not encouraged.
Okay, so it's very clear these two chaps are on different levels. He gets back to doodling what looks like Dan Aykroyd playing chess, it seems.
Who you gonna call?
This whole office looks like something you'd expect to see in Control. Like, it is techie, but it's very mundane at the same time. Like, it fits that niche. The chaps here just play a very long game of chess, because it only seems to be those two left. Like, one guy's on holiday, the other guy's on sick leave.
Owen is probably out sick again. That would be my best guess.
Well, so it seems anyway.
You sure about that?
Eventually our main man wins, because, well, of course he does.
I believe that's Czechsky. Matesky.
What? No way.
And we get some early questions raised.
You know, the other night I heard some noise.
Noise.
So clearly Eric here is seeing and hearing things more.
They come for you at night.
Who does?
They do.
Drop it.
They do.
Enough!
And Dodd, well, Dodd's just in it for the paychecks. I can't fault that work ethic, to be honest. Like, fair play to you, Dodd. Well, that is if he's paid. Like, I don't actually know. Like, he says that. I can't imagine them commuting home. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not getting stuck on the motorway. Our elevator dings and in comes some Matrix-styled room service.
Goat cheese salad with ginseng, liver fricassee, and mango sorbet. Ugh. Must be you.
I don't know about you guys, I would personally hate that. Like, for me, it's not just the food. Like, I want to enjoy my food, not just take a pill. It would be convenient in some scenarios, but let me have a dinner. Let me chew, please. I've just worked all day. We've murdered lots of people. They quickly drop a fat prayer, and that is weird to me.
Bless us, our Lord, for these thy gifts which we are about to receive from thy bounty through you, our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
It feels odd in Cube that it's religious as well. Like, maybe that theory was onto something, I don't know. And also, see if it was just an animal, like maybe they're having some steak, that prayer would make sense, because it's like, thank you God for like giving us the animal, and you know, we're going to eat it now. But this is clearly technology and science at its peak. I don't imagine God got too involved in these nutrient pills.
Boom, boom, guys. Boom, boom.
We get a notice that one gal was in her REM sleep, and well, of course, we just cannot have anyone having a little snooze.
Please record REM sleeper in room 172409. Let's go.
Our gents break out the claw machine and scan her dreams now. This movie is really wanting to hit the ground running. Much like the claw machine, they are wanting to hook us in fast. She escapes into the woods until, and I'm not joking, cube ninjas catch her and bring her back in. Cube ninjas. Where do we have cube ninjas? I love it so much. I don't even think they're ninjas, by the way. I just love the idea of cube ninjas in the woods. Our men just start getting existential on us. Eric is just forever thinking big, clearly.
When's the last time you remember being outside?
Last night, I had a dream of being at the beach.
So the victims and these guys all seem to have some memory issues. Interesting. Our paycheck collector Dodd, he just cannot leave Eric on a happy note though.
You know what these are?
Chickless's kids, Arthur and Sunshine.
Orphans. They're orphans.
You told me Chickless was on vacation.
He dips and Eric just gets back to the girl. Oh, okay mate, move the camera up a little bit. Like it's getting weird now. This here is Cassandra who comes to, and what's clear is that not all of her memory is gone.
Bastards. Where is she?
So she still remembers the Cube Power Rangers then. Good to know. Don't know how much else she remembers, but I'll be honest, I wouldn't forget them.
What have you done to me? Why can't I remember?
Oh, never mind. She doesn't remember at all then. Like, oh, Cassandra. You're meant to tell tales of the Cube Power Ranger ninjas. Cass here is on the move now and thankfully finds somebody, but uh-oh.
Touch me again, soldier, and you'll be eating your eyeballs.
Why, soldier, what do you know about me?
Tattoo. On your forehead.
Yeah, she is not off to the best start with the group here, is she?
He won't do shit!
First impressions, Cass. Come on now. Because she has the slightest bit of memory, she is just standing out as suspicious now. Which, it's not much she remembers, but it's also fair. Do you know what I mean?
I don't trust her. She knows something.
Well, thank God somebody does.
Like, she can't do much with what she remembers, but the fact that none of them remember anything, she's definitely a step above. Her kid isn't here though, so she has to press on, and then we get that classic Cube moment.
You gotta be careful climbing around here.
Why?
There are traps.
He said it! He said it!
The big man though, he looks like he's posing for the lads more than he's injured, do you know what I mean?
How do you know?
Because of this?
I thought this was Cube, not Cuba. We just get back onto some Cass grilling since she still remembers something though.
You remember something. Before all of this.
Not much.
If only these people could understand that what she remembers is pretty much fuck all. it would smooth things over.
I don't think I would have known my own name if it wasn't stitched on my shirt.
We keep moving and the gang here have a plan. They are going to go in just one direction to finally hit the edge. But Gub, how did this group test the rooms exactly?
Safe!
Ah, the old boot method. Everybody in the cube is just using the boot method. I'm surprised they're still given boots. It's safe, thankfully, and in goes the old lad. What do you think's going to happen to the chap? That's correct, he gets absolutely Resident Evil'd. I will never see this death and not immediately think of Resident Evil. It's just in my head as like the primary movie that has ever done this. It's probably been in movies before it. It will after, maybe better. It's always Resident Evil to me. Back onto the office and Eric is, well, of course being Eric and just questioning more.
I know what she's in for.
You're making a mistake.
With very little to offer, other than his, like, food pill, I imagine, he's offering up his chess skills in return for knowledge.
I'll show you 3 ways to beat that gambit if you answer one question.
Looks like he's making his own gambit. I hope one person plays chess and got that. Eric shows him the win though and just has one question for old Dodd here.
What do you know about a third exit? What? A third exit. An auxiliary exit that leads directly outside.
There's no such thing.
Sadly though, Dodd is just not that helpful.
I think that's why they're gone. I think they found something out.
I think you better stop listening to old wives' tales. Just listen to me. This conversation is over.
I think we can agree he is Dodd in the water. Back on into the cube though, and it is just the usual stuff that we've all come to expect at this point.
The sensors in that room must have been different. Maybe they're not motion sensors. Maybe they're triggered by heat.
This time though, to make things a little different, it isn't numbers that are within the tunnels.
YYO.
UDS.
SAN.
Like, do you remember they had to use, I think it was like prime numbers in Cube? Yeah, it's different now.
They're identified by numbers that are the power of a prime.
Okay.
Our crew are coming up with a new plan, of course. Let's make a map finally and work this thing out.
CIA. Give me the others.
YYO, UDS, and SAN.
Big Party Boy is the memory one though, and well, at least he is easier to watch this time around. Now just back onto Eric, and fuck me, he is just drawing her thicker every time.
These are just pictures of women with giant breasts.
Yeah.
Now I'm not complaining by that, but Eric, yeah, it's clear he's rooting for Cass.
The rooms could realign to 0 position. No, it happens, and then she'll figure out the letters and, sail through.
And what's the first thing the program does when the room's realigned to 0 position?
Clean sweep.
Exactly.
So if all the rooms and like cubes reset, everybody that's still within the cubes just get obliterated. Sounds like a good time out. Dodd though just continues to be not self-aware and angry about it.
Why don't you stop your doodling and do some work for a change?
Coming from the man who has done nothing but play chess. Do you know what I mean?
The letters tell us one important fact that numbers never would.
What do you mean? There are only 26 letters in the English alphabet.
Okay, so we do have coordinates.
Worst case scenario, we're anywhere from 1 to 25 rooms away from the edge.
I actually can't remember if we got told how many cubes there were in the last movies, but at least now we know. Our big lad is up next and, well, he just boots it into the next room. It's office time again, and we jump between the office and the cube quite a lot in this movie, so fair warning. Eric is still looking into his favourite thickie, but uh-oh, someone has made a mistake.
Would you put that away? There's no consent form. What? There's no pink page. The consent form's missing.
We both know that's impossible.
So they do have to consent to being in here, which I don't quite fully get, because like, why would you consent? Prisoners I understand, but surely it's not just all prisoners, right? And I'm not saying that like I know what was happening in the foreshadowing. It seems weird. Like, even if Cass is a prisoner, the fact her daughter's involved, you wouldn't do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, surely she can't give consent.
She's a political. So that would explain it.
The chaps here, though, they just recognise her across the front page.
There might not be a consent form. Get it?
But that's illegal.
You know what kind of people end up in there? Exactly! All we know is what we read in the files.
What if it's all bogus? The files, the crimes, everything. Maybe they're just putting anyone in there they don't like. Maybe.
Dodd just refuses to use the chastity-belted phone. I don't know how else to describe that. Since this is not an emergency somehow, somebody not giving consent to enter the death cube is not an emergency, nothing out of the ordinary. That's just a Monday. He does have a very odd stance here, like he picks a weird hill to die on.
There's a purpose and there's a plan.
Since he admittedly doesn't understand either.
And I'm not so stupid as to think there's no plan just because I don't understand it.
But is also so serious about not doing anything. Do you know what I mean? However, unexpectedly, the phone starts ring-a-linging and things are getting serious.
That was a phone call from upstairs. Personal contact. Direct orders from above. They never do that. We can't screw this up.
With this being a two-man senior job,
2 senior technicians have to be present at all exit procedures.
Right, but I am not a senior technician.
he is standing his ground to his superior. They back and forth for a while and eventually they strike up a deal.
You help me with this, and I'll tell them about your girlfriend, okay?
Finally, we get on to working. You know, the thing you should do in the office job, and we get to see what's going on near the exit.
Oh no. Owen. It's Owen.
Shut up.
I genuinely did not see that one coming. Well done, Cube. I'll give you points for that. I probably should get a point system in my videos for things. Looks like Owen here was not pulling a sickie. Or on the holiday, I forget which one he was. He was one of the two. He was mentioned once, give me a break. Our office boy here opens up the cube and is immediately blinded, like opening up your phone when you wake up during the night. He wanders through the blinding light for a moment before we just cut to black. I honestly had no idea what was happening next. Like, I couldn't even imagine what was possibly happening there. Now, this next moment I also just did not expect. It is time for a Q&A session.
Please state your name.
Huh? Who are you?
Doesn't recognize your voice.
Owen, understandably, has a few questions of his own, which is more than fair.
Question 2. Do you believe in God?
What kind of God would do this to people?
Please answer yes or no.
No.
What is going to happen, though, with our atheist Owen, you ask?
I say.
God damn, Dodd. When we let somebody cook on their answer, that's not what we mean. Also, just a thought here, and I fully appreciate this might just be me not understanding how something works, but their minds are totally wiped to remove any long-term thoughts. But then they're asked if they believe in God. Like, based on what exactly? Their time in the fucking cube? Like, is it... Surely if you have your mind wiped, you also don't have any memory of God or your sense of belief. Like, unless the cube is dishing out Bibles in every room like a hotel, I don't think they're going to know. Anyway, that aside, Eric here is understandably pissed.
Do you believe in God? It all hinges on that?
I just read the questions and push the buttons, okay?
But Gub, what happens if somebody does believe in God, you ask?
What happens if you push yes?
I don't know. Who's ever said yes?
Oh, so maybe we need to chuck a few Mormons in there or something just to you'll knock on the cube doors. Big Eric Red Boots here is just getting flashbacks to what just happened 5 minutes ago, like any of us would have forgotten.
What kind of animals would do this?
This was all just so that he could do this very serious stern face, by the way. Like, just have him do the face. We'll be able to read, based on his expression, like what he's thinking, what's going on in his old noggin. You don't need the flashbacks, especially when they just happen. Eric the naughty little minx though, yeah, he now just jumps into the lift.
What are you doing? You're not allowed in there.
Through pushing buttons.
No! Why nobody thought this was possible is beyond me. Like, what? These people created the cube, and the cubes within the cube. They made this whole thing. They didn't think someone would jump in the lift. Fuck it. And like anybody on a third date, he is going down fast.
You gotta give him that huck to it.
Now this is a fair development for the Cube movies. He is now on a rescue mission and going into the cubes himself. This nerd really couldn't take it anymore. I guess you could say this man has been left on his dod.
Stupid, stupid, stupid!
The elevator dings though, and who do we have here now?
Good evening, Mr. Dodd.
God damn, the eye there, yeah, it looks lovely. It's great. I hardly noticed it. I especially love that it's in line with your other eye. It's great. Like, it's fucking hell. They had time to make this whole set, make the movie. They couldn't align this guy's eyes. The men in black here are on the hunt for Eric, and well, we get some sweet ass keyboard acting. I fucking love bad keyboard acting so much. Dodd, though feeling a little bit left out, needs something to do.
What do I do?
I'm sorry?
What do I...
Yes, I almost forgot. I have your orders from upstairs.
This interaction feels weird.
It's a personal delivery. Order number 793, blah, 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 blah. Commence standard series of needle tests on Rain's group.
I can't quite put my finger on it, but it isn't vibing with the movie. Does that make sense? Like, is it funny? Is it supposed to be serious? Why is he interrupting? Like, who chose that eye? Like, that's just some of the questions.
Of course, sir. All in a day's work, sir.
Back onto the cube now, and Eric is making sweet progress.
K to K, 3 odds, and my Q, also 3 odds. Safe.
Hold up, is that the rule? So I don't remember it exactly, but I do recall in Cube, at least it was a bit more complicated, like they needed math whiz to get through it.
Look at the numbers! 567, 898, 545? There's no way I can factor that! I can't even start on 567! It's astronomical!
2. Whereas here, the letters are numbers and they just have to be even or odd. Like, is that it? Fucking sign me up, I consent. I'll survive the cube with that rule. Our main group though are working it out and they find the winning room.
AZZ. Got it.
Oh, sorry, the as room. Never mind. I thought it was about to get fucking thick again, do you know what I mean? One of our gals is trapped in the room herself, and let's see if it's going to be a good room or a bad room. I actually felt my foot twitching when I watched that. Like, I don't like it. Needles, little things like that. People standing on nails, get out of here. But also, a lot of these rooms have like AoE effects, right? Like you're trapped in the room and it'll all just go on fire or laser through the whole room. This was very specific. Like she had to step on that. Because we don't even have syringe guns. I'm still not over that. So, I'm still not over it. She just goes sleepy times, or well, dies. I'm not quite sure which of the two. And onwards to our man Eric, who is still doodling. I bet it's something quick, something simple, and fucking hell. This is Michael Schofield levels of Cube. Now I wish I could say I edited this, but sadly I'm not going to take credit for it. Owen starts seeing in the 4th dimension and he is just giving us meme vibes right now. Back onto the gang who are searching for the young girl and well, they seem to be going a bit rogue.
Guys?
Are we
sure this room is safe?
Like, they've been throwing boots into rooms just to make sure it's safe, which totally get. But you're now telling me they're not even checking corners? Like, fuck off. First thing I would be doing is checking all around. And while we're at it, who designed this? Like, this is the best you could do. I don't want to shit on production by any means, but this looks like something you would see on your porch 1 week after Halloween. Our main man just decides to loot the body and we get 2 fresh boots.
What are you doing?
We could use these.
As for Hasquell, he is still feeling that slight headache.
We've already chased our tails for an hour looking for her. God, this headache is not going away.
I hope that's relevant later, he said. Foreshadowing. We find her in the needle room now.
Jackpot. It's her.
And well, do we throw in a boot? Nah, do we fuck. Let's just jump on in and see what happens. No survivability.
There's a pulse. She's burning up.
So she was sleeping. I wrote that just because it really was unclear, but so she's still alive.
Can you hear me?
Oh my god.
What happened to you?
Oh Christ, never mind. So this just gets weirder and weirder, and I wish I was joking right now. She's basically a zombie.
I want to touch you! Let go! Oh my god!
Meyerhold gives her the old Sean shove, and down she goes.
Leave me.
But sadly, it's not over yet.
We never checked this room for traps. It could be in the air.
Hasquell's headache might be gone,
My headache's gone.
but he is certainly still being sus AF.
There, see? Nothing. Flesh wound.
Oh, fuck. Party Boy was chewed. I actually like Party Boy in this movie. With very little information to go on, Hasquell is very quick to assume a lot about this infection.
I think whatever was eating away at her is spreading to him.
Hey, hello, I'm still here.
Not for long.
I mean, I suppose you can't be too careful in the cube, but he is banking a lot on very little knowledge.
I say we ditch him.
Screw you!
Annoyingly though, it turns out he's right. Like, you know when you want someone to be wrong because they've not shown they're working? Not here, unfortunately.
Please don't leave me.
And with that, we're another man down.
You want to babysit a dead man? Be my guest.
Please. I'll do anything.
Well, not yet. He's not down yet, but we know soon.
From now on, you test the rooms.
He might be a zombie. Somehow. Don't get Cube now, has zombies in it. Fucking what? But he still has a use.
Well, we're not going down there. No sense wasting a good boot.
Yeah, probably nothing to test in that room. You're right, nothing at all. Haskell just little fingers him down the moon door.
Okay.
It's not until I said that out loud, little fingering him just doesn't sound right. I'm sorry. You know what I meant. And Gub, what is in this room, you ask? It's Rishi Sunak's wet dream, of course. It's Sky Plus, baby. Back in the Sky Dish days, anyway. Fuck, I'm showing my age. He just gets some shite tunes blasted at him, and what do you think happens next? Did anybody have pops like a balloon full of ketchup on their bingo cards? It's not often I do this, but in this instance, let's run that back just once more. It's just so bad. You have to see it again.
Yeah, it's rewind time.
The head in movies I can totally get behind being something that would just pop. That's not to say I believe or even know the science behind it, but you see it happen in movies and we all just buy it, right? The arms too though, like that's where I draw the line. And it's it's a weird line to have as a horror fan. The skull and head just fully popping, yeah, I believe that. That's something that could happen to me IRL. Arms on the other hand, fucking no chance. His surprisingly clean jacket now just falls into the pile as we move. Seriously, props team? Not even some blood on the inside of it? Like, he literally exploded. Our gal just pops on in, and of course she cannot believe what happened, much like all of us.
No!
There really isn't any surprise there. Like, none. These two have a little bicker back and forth about the zombie virus. I can't believe I'm talking about zombies in Cube. But if only there was a middleman there to set the record straight.
You thought it was spreading. We'd be dead by now.
You don't know that.
Actually, he's right. It's a highly contagious form of necrotizing fasciitis.
Hey, it's Eric right on cue.
I've come to help.
And unfortunately though, Eric might have found the duo, the workers have found all of them.
The quarry intersected with my subjects, sir.
Good work, Rod. Who says they only hire the mentally challenged down here? Open.
Thank you, sir.
We get a downbeat now, and really it's just all the questions that you would fully expect to be asked right now.
I mean, they collect data and run tests. All kinds of tests. Testing chemical and biological agents, measuring brain activity, endurance. Most of it I don't understand.
You know, how could you do this? This is your job. You're paid to do it. It's just all the questions you would ask.
It was your choice. Look, you volunteered, only you don't remember anymore. At least that's what they told us.
Haskell has had enough of the old I don't knows and full-on anime punches him.
I saw the consent forms, except for yours.
You're right.
If this all wasn't weird enough by now, he just explains that he has seen Rain's daughter somewhere.
Did you happen to see a little girl?
No. Yes. I mean, I saw her.
In a cell? In a file?
Your dreams.
What the F? He hands over his busty art to prove it, because that's proof enough.
Where's my daughter, you piece of shit?
Haskell, though, eventually gets her to rein it in.
Rains! We need him.
And Eric here, well, he is just plotting out an exit.
Read me the coordinates from the surrounding rooms, please.
We zoom out, and wouldn't you know, more impossible cameras. The best movies have impossible cameras. And I say best loosely, very loosely. They, of course, are not a fan of our super nerd Eric and are now setting out to ruin his chances.
This one's CFP. The hell?
Okay, once again, Cube. I did not expect that. That's actually a pretty cool idea. We get all techie now, and I just have a couple of things.
Ah, Mr. Finn, show me the current trap configuration, s'il vous plaît.
Part of Cube's mystery was always not knowing just how big it was, right? Like, I know this film has kind of confirmed that to us already, but seeing it actually in, like, some diagram, it just takes out some of the mystery for me. Like, I don't know if that's the same for you. Definitely feels it for me. And moving on, the cubes all start lighting up and we get this weird Futurama looking language. I have got no idea what any of it means, but it feels like if I could decipher it, I would get some really cool Easter eggs or clues, right? Like, it's got that vibe to it. This man is on one though, and just like me putting paprika on almost everything I cook, he is about to spice things up.
Let's make their life a little more interesting, shall we?
We are just moving from death room to death room.
They've tracked all the rooms around us.
Our one-eyed boss is taking a call, and it turns out he also has a boss.
Right away, sir. Just finish it, you idiot.
It's a job. This whole room starts turning into one of those like static sphere things that are in the front window of every gadget shop, yet somehow, miraculously, nobody gets injured.
What's happening?
The office lose connection and all eyes are on Dodd.
Someone is screwing with the connection.
What? I have no idea.
Well, one eye's on Dodd, the other eye's fucking who knows where. But if it wasn't Dodd, who could it possibly be? Oh, you sly little sausage, you. He dips to the toilet and this whole place now goes into reset mode.
I use the facility, sir?
Just go.
I mean, one way or the other, Dodd was definitely taking the piss. The gang are now just brainstorming because they have 10 minutes to get out before the entire facility has a clean sweep.
So the traps don't work.
That's the good news, yeah. The clean sweep program flash incinerates anything still living in all the rooms. So, we gotta move.
But thankfully, Eric here has an epiphany.
The clean sweep happens after they realign to zero position. What? Quick, let me see your map. AZZ, here. It'll move us to the perimeter and we'll have about
3 seconds to go.
So the plan is now set. Get to the end cube and they will have 3 seconds to escape. Sounds good. It sounds favourable, surely. What a horrible plan. I get it's probably all they can do right now. I would not be filming. I'd just sit down and enjoy the 10 minutes personally. That'd be me. Back on to Dodd, who is now just ripping the place up. I hope he does not get interrupted.
Gotcha. A noble attempt.
What to do in a situation like this?
There.
I never have been a fan of fusion food personally. Fusion food. It was a reach, but I went for it. Old One Eye here just blows in his face to paralyse him and then just starts showing off his favourite CSGO skins.
Odd. You still will be able to feel.
Yeah, he was not waiting for him to poop out that fuse. Nope. Nope, not at all.
Does anyone know where this goes? Anyone?
Our one-eye villain gets to forming a new plan, and the deck, it's safe to say, is very much not stacked in Eric's favour.
One of our runaway rats is a former squad soldier, is he not?
Yes, sir, that would be Haskell, the big fella.
Aye, that the big fella. And they still biochip the enlisted men, do they not?
Of course.
But Gub, we've got 3 people left. You've got Cass, the main girl of the movie, Eric, the main nerd of the movie, and a third wheel. How are you going to kill off this third wheel, you ask? Well, viewer, what you do is you start to hack his just recently mentioned neurochip, of course. They're just making it up as they go. Oh, Cube Zero, why is this here? Oh, damn. Maybe he survived it, though.
There's no way he survived that.
Okay, sorry, Eric. Time is ticking on down, and somehow we have pissed away 6 minutes. I'm not sure how. Now it is really time to up the stakes. They had some serious Blade vibes and influence here. Haskell, somehow with a hacked neurochip, is now superhuman, and we have a throwdown. I say throwdown. It's like early Star Trek type of throwdown, but nonetheless, our main gal comes in with the old classic. Yes, Cass. I genuinely, unironically love it in a movie where they just kick them in the balls. It is genuinely one of the most effective things you can ever do to a guy. In movies, they don't use it enough. I know it feels cheap, but it feels realistic. Ladies, just take my word for it that will immediately just down someone for a long time. And as for the fellas watching, well, yous all get PTSD when someone asks you the capital of Thailand, am I right? We keep pushing on and they have finally made it to the edge.
Water.
The auxiliary exit.
We find a little pool here, and do you see it, guys? Do you see it? Do you see it?
Now what?
Can you swim?
Yep, Haskell has gone from Blade to Spider-Man. It is crunch time now, and time to just dive on in. Well, I say dive. She does kind of dive in. Whereas Eric, yeah, they didn't get a stuntman for him. He dove in like Poochie exited Itchy and Scratchy. Do you know what I mean?
They fought and bit, they fought and bit.
Haskell gets absolutely vaporised, whilst our survivors are now just exploring the depths.
I don't like it. Get a squad to the exit point.
Why was there not somebody at the exit already? Like from an hour ago? You know, on the off chance that they made it out? I cannot wait to see this futuristic exit though. I bet it's all metallic and otherworldly sort of vibe. Oh no, it's just a lake. It's a fucking lake. This could have been amazing. They escape through the woods, but now they have to outrun, and I swear to God, like sniper ninjas. I know I keep saying ninja. Very little about them is ninja. They're sniper ninjas, that's what they are. And also, black doesn't work as camouflage everywhere, guys. Like, I know you're trying to be sneaky. Wear fucking green, right? Wear something matching your surroundings.
Come on! Run! Run! Go!
Sadly, Eric, though, gets taken, and he is now found guilty of his crimes.
Your sentence has been extended for 2 more lifetimes.
What sentence? I don't even remember the trial.
Oh, well, you were found guilty. No further questions.
Our man Eric is now just lying here like he tried to outrun Bill Burr once, and demands death. But, uh-oh.
You have already made your choice. I believe this is your signature. Brother,
Yes, the most easily forged signature ever, and he just accepts it. It's like 4 lines.
You chose to become a test subject many years ago, and you simply don't remember that. Oh, it's all standard procedure.
But my job, Dodd, Owen, checklist.
All lab rats, just like you. You know, observing the observers, you know.
We do learn, though, that our gal escaped.
You didn't catch her.
Now it's time for Eric to get his memories, like, wiped once again.
Wait!
I genuinely never thought that it would have been medically done. Like, there was no clues either way, but I just kind of assumed it would be hypnosis or, like, Hannibal with, like, the little ticking thing. Just something like that. Our gal Rain is in the woods and reunited with her daughter, and, well, yeah, they don't explain that. She's just, she's reunited.
I have something to show you. See? That's us. It's very special because they were drawn by a very special person.
Cut on back to Eric, who has been placed back into the cube, and... And no. I've seen those finger movements before. Please, God, no.
What's wrong with him?
He doesn't seem to know we're here.
Oh, fuck off. They're really doing this. If you haven't cottoned on yet, just take a second.
This room is green.
They are using the math whiz from Cube 1. And, by the way, I went back. It's like shot for shot, and even the dialogue matches up. Almost perfectly.
This room is green.
Hi there.
This room is green.
Yes, it is.
This room is green.
Yes, it is. What is it, shock?
I want to go back to the blue room.
I think he's mentally handicapped.
Shock or what?
I think he's mentally handicapped.
I mean, at least it explains the chap in the first movie for being there, because that did always feel a bit weird. However, is the guy in the first movie Eric? Because it's obviously different actors, right? If it was just somebody similar, shall we say, in the movie, I could buy it as just somebody that had been through the same thing as Eric and is now back in the cube, right? The fact the dialogue's almost identical makes me think that the math whiz is meant to be Eric. And yet, they had none of the same actors. They didn't even try and make them look the same. We just pan on down to him testing out his web slingers now.
Back. I want to go back.
And with that, we roll on into credits. Okay, I did not expect that final scene, I'll be honest. That one was a bit of a shock. Like, I knew it was a prequel. It doesn't lie, it's clearly a prequel. Didn't think it was actually going to, like, dovetail into the first movie like that. Or it's a totally different group, just for some reason they all say the same things. I'm taking it as a prequel with minimal effort. That's what I'm saying. I will say, though, I did enjoy some of the rooms, even as silly as they were. You know, like the exploding person, the needle room, the zombies. I don't mind when there's a lack of logic and some batshit insanity, when it's entertaining. And I'll be honest, This movie was entertaining. This was a fun ride. And this is probably very boring, but see the sort of bureaucracy behind the cube? That was interesting to me. I wish we learned more about that. You know, who made it? Who's in charge? How high up does that business go? Obviously, we're here for the traps. We're here for the kill rooms and people trying to escape. I totally get that. But when you've got the prequel that is setting up the idea of looking behind the curtain, I wanted a little bit more from it. We just got the main room. We got a couple of guys and their boss, but they clearly have a boss above them and it goes higher. How high is the chain, basically? I want to know. And I'm curious what your thoughts as well are on the sort of religious theories of Cube as a movie, because there was a theory on the first one, as I mentioned, and in this movie, with the questions you're asked at the end being about God and if you believe, I don't quite understand Cube. But it's one of those ones that I don't understand, but I'm also not walking away from it thinking like, oh, I didn't get enough from that. I'm aware there's something, and I'm just not quite putting my finger on it. Do you know what I mean? Do you ever feel like that with movies? One-Eyed Boss Man, as much as he was insane, he was fun to watch. He was a good addition. Dodd finally picked up, though, as the movie went on. He was a bit dull at the start, wasn't he? And then, I mean, sadly, he didn't make it to the end. But he was picking up along the way. Eric, as much as he is a good doodler of the old thickies, he's a good man at heart. He's a nerd with courage, and that's the type we should all strive to be. And as for Rain meeting her daughter, as I said, happy for her. Just don't have a clue how that happened. With that being said, have you seen Cube Zero before? Have you seen the trilogy? Where would you place this within the trilogy? I honestly would like more Cube movies, but only ones that would expand the lore, not just give us more traps. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want one like that. Are there any other movies you'd like to see getting covered here? Please do let me know. I didn't do Cube 1 and 2, as I said, because I have already seen them, and I don't want to fake surprise when I'm watching a movie, so at least this one was totally fresh. But if there are any other movies where it's traps and death and murder and different angles on it, let me know. They are my bread and butter. And if you've made it this far, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't yet, do hit subscribe. That'd be very much appreciated. And with all that being said and covered, I hope I see you on the next one.